now doing big, regular, whole videos, and we're back in the garden.
Love being in the garden.
Yes, we're out here talking. We're hoping you can hear us. We've got a lot of noise going on. You can hear in the background.
Traffic, neighbors, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, there's dogs barking, there's lawnmowers, which is great. It's a kind of a nice sound to hear life going on around you. But we're going to be working on the apple tree garden today.
Right. There's our apple tree behind us here. So we call it our apple garden. It needs some help. It's really neglected over the years.
That's the word I was going to use. It's been neglected.
Yeah.
So we keep it nice, but we really haven't done much to it. We're going to fix that up today.
It's a place where when we have an extra plant or something we have to move, we have to put it somewhere. We figure, well, there's some room over there. Let's just stick it in the ground.
Yeah.
Which we've done over the years, which is fine, but this kind of has no rhyme or reason to it.
Yeah.
So we've got some great ideas to spruce it up. We're not spending any money on it. We're just going to have a lot of fun. And,
well, he says that, but I'm going to try not to, folks. I'm going to see if we might have a flower or two that we might want to transplant, but it might end up being a free project. Most likely it'll be a free project because that's what we do. But anyway, if you have an area like this in your garden, these are just going to be some ideas that maybe you can use, that if you have extra stone laying around, maybe someone on Marketplace is getting rid of it, or you just have some stuff you want to move around and make it look more full. We're going to show you how we do that, so you can do it too.
Yeah, let's have fun.
Let's have fun. Let's do it.
Let's go. A little update over here. I don't know if you can tell on camera, but the baby grass is growing in here in our front yard, where we reduced the size of that bed and planted some grass seed. So it's growing in, and we have spread some wood chips everywhere, and I did some fresh edging everywhere, and we're pleased with how it came out. Along the front of our house, we've got tons of weeds growing in these rocks here. That's going to be my next task, is to start cleaning these up. So we've got this big beautiful peony plant that hasn't bloomed in years because this garden has gotten shadier and shadier, and I think it's just not getting enough sun. So we're going to take that right out carefully, and we're going to move it into a better sunnier spot. Now it's not the ideal time to transplant a peony, but we're just ready to move it, so this is the time we have.
Well, and then in the future, like next year, it'll bloom. Even if it doesn't this year, it's going to bloom. And as long as we take care of it and nurture it, because of the spot where we're putting it, we'll be able to pay attention to it. It'll be kept alive, and it's still going to look pretty and green. And then next year, it's going to come back in full swing. Now, we have to be careful because it is very mature. It is big.
I think I may split it a bit. We'll see how it happens when I take it apart.
He's removing the peony ring. If you have a peony, you really want this ring because it keeps everything upright. It's very important to have that. And we have some irises mixed in too. We're going to pull those as well. We're not going to replant those. We have a lot of irises, and they keep going. They keep spreading. Really important, Paul, if you ever see him dig in other videos, he tends to like jump down on it. Really important that you have proper shoes when you do that. That just gives you a little bit of momentum to really get in there and dig deep. You can just push with one foot. You can just jump on it. If you do, really make sure you're okay doing that and that you have really tough shoes on, because it can go through the shoe and really hurt your foot.
So we've come up with an idea to put a small path winding through this little apple garden. I'm just removing the plants that are in the way. Also, we have a couple of baby oak leaf hydrangeas here, transplanted from the front yard, that are going to get nice and big and bushy, but right now they're tiny. I also come up with the idea of raising them up on kind of like a little mound. In a few areas in this garden, I think we're going to do a little mounded effect. This will give them added height and also more added interest. So I'm going to dig those up and make room for the mound. This one I just transplanted a couple of weeks ago, and the other one was from last year. Still both very small, but should get some height to them soon, the next couple of years. Okay, so we're thinking of a small trail starting over by the pond on that brick walkway. Coming through, I've removed these plants. And coming out to join that walkway over there. Just something to add a little interest and give us somewhere to walk through. We're going to enjoy the plants and the shade. Now we're going to need some soil to fill these holes and then make some mounds. And these are all the plants I've removed that will find a new home close by on either side of the path. So in doing this project, we decided to move our small garden shed over to this area behind the grill and kind of reposition everything. And definitely have to give this grill a good cleaning too, inside and out. In order to fit back here, I've got to remove a couple branches.
So we had a broken pot, and it was kind of a neat little doorway. So we took this pot and we made it into a frog house, because frogs right near a pond, they tend to seek shelter on occasion, and they can go right in there and seek shelter. So we're going to leave this. I painted it. We painted an exterior blue that used to be on our house color, and we had a little left, so I used that for all 3 pots. And these are just transplanted plants that we had. We still don't remember what the name of that was. We put our little area over there for the garden as a decoration, and I'm going to put this pot over here as a frog house. So a woman from a tag sale the other day had sold us this. We bought a few things, and this was part of that lot of, like, I think 3 things. And this particular pot she had said was from Mexico. We discovered later was actually made in Portugal, so I'm assuming it's from Portugal. But she was a woman of travels, maybe she had forgotten. But I imagine it's some sort of a vase or urn of some kind. It has a cover, so we just kind of left the cover on. It was the orange, like clay. It's like a terracotta, but not quite. But I painted over it because it really didn't look great. It had a weird odor to it, so I cleaned it off. And I had painted it with a regular paint, and then I realized it's not going to do well outside, so we did an exterior black paint over it. And inside, it still had quite an odor to it. I did put a little bit of peppermint oil that I have. I have an essential oil that's really good from Grove. I get a really good brand. And I put a little on the inside of the lid and inside there as well. Not only helps the smell, but it'll keep some of the bugs away. Hopefully it'll keep this in good shape under the tree here in the weather. This tree, it's a beautiful Japanese maple. And it's right over our pond, and it's lovely. And we love the privacy of it and the shade. We have a branch that's just hanging a little too low. Every year, sometimes every 2 years, but almost every year lately, we've been having it go too low. So we're just cutting off that branch just because it hangs too low. And that just still gives us a shade, still gives us a privacy, but it really just opens it up so much more. And it won't be hanging into the pond. So as you can see, it really hasn't changed much. We just really wanted it not to go into the water, but we don't want to go so drastic and so aggressive that we take too much of that shade and privacy away. And that ethereal feeling of this mystical garden, we really just didn't want to take that away. So it's still there. Last year we had a chair over here that Paul had made. We really loved it. We loved sitting in this little area over here. The problem is it just takes up too much space, and honestly it gets in the way sometimes. So we left it out, but we did put it over into the new area that Paul had done up here. Still have a bit of a mess we're going to clean up, but we have, don't mind my dirty hands, we put the chair over here to see how we like it over here. However, it could become an issue because we have little tenants over here in our birdhouse, so we don't want to upset them. So if it's too upsetting for them to be right near the birdhouse, we may move that. But for now, it's sitting there. I would, in particularly, like a bench here, but we'll see. We still have an old window there we're not quite sure what we're going to do with yet, but I don't want to get rid of it yet. I have hopes for it. Paul had put a pathway around the mulched area. We call this our apple tree garden because of our apple tree. We still have a bit of a mess over there, so don't pay attention to the mess. So this table was bought from Dollar Tree last year, and it's been sitting out because we didn't know where to store it, and it got really rusty. So we're going to kind of scruff it down with a steel wool and just kind of scrape what we can and sand it down. And then we're going to use an exterior brush-on paint because I ran out of my spray paint. Hopefully it'll work out. But we're going to do that and paint it black so it kind of is not as obvious. And we're going to stick it next to the chair in that apple tree garden.